Dr. Richard Chang is the CEO of Richard Chang Associates. He's a top-rated keynote speaker, the author of numerous tapes and videos, co-author of more than 25 books on business and personal development, and we welcome him to Making It today. How are you?
Fine, Emmett, thanks.
Excellent. So, someone walks through the door. They want to start a business. What's the first thing you tell them?
What is it about the business that you're passionate about? Why are you starting it? And what's your vision for success?
And how does that really relate to what it's going to mean for them to be successful in business?
Well, one of the things that's really important is to visualize why you're doing the business and what you want to be successful at. And how is it going to serve the community or the customers that you're working for? How is it going to serve the marketplace? Those are all things that you want to visualize as far as how important that is to you.
Do you find that people are passionate about the idea, or are they passionate about the making of the money that the idea may get them?
Well, there's different things about passion. One of the things I describe in the passion plan is that you have to understand the content or the context of your passion. The context could be like making money or something like that, but the content could be the subject matter or the purpose of that business that you're trying to create.
Do you suggest they shift their focus if it happens to be not on the passion itself?
Well, one of the things I do find in the passion research is that if you're trying to chase the money, you may not be as successful as you want to be. If you really follow your passion and what you're really excited about and what really enthralls and excites you, then the money will follow because you're going to really love what you're doing and you'll be excited about that business.
VMBR, what does that stand for, or what is it?
That stands for Visual Motor Behavior Rehearsal. And it's actually a technique I used to use with athletes in sports psychology, which is where you practice sort of your stroke or your game or things like that, when you're not really doing it physically. But in business, it translates to visualization. Whereas an entrepreneur, you want to visualize again sort of the outcomes for your business, why you're creating it, and how you hope to affect the community or the customers that you're working with.
I mean, how do they do that? Do they lie down and relax and visualize it? Do you do it on the way to work in your car? What do you mean by visualize?
Well, you can do it just about anywhere. It's really in your mind. One of the techniques I remember I used to use as an athlete was I would practice. I used to be a pro bowler, and I was before, and I used to practice my bowling stroke in my mind. And so you actually try to practice your timing. Or in business, when I started my own company, what I tried to visualize was where was it going to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now? What would it look like? What kind of customers would it be servicing? And those are things that I tried to play over and over in my own mind.
That's kind of difficult, isn't it? I mean, don't people have a lot of trouble actually bringing that picture into their mind and then translating that into success?
Well, sometimes. But oftentimes you can look for role models. You can look at other successful entrepreneurs or businesses and see what they've achieved, but you can also begin to shape that in your own mind, in your own head.
You mentioned your book before, The Passion Plan. I'm going to hold that up because we have a number of them. We have The Passion at Work and we have The Passion Plan. That's The Passion at Work, which is your most recent book. The Passion Plan was one that you wrote about 1.5 years before that. One focuses more on businesses and another one focuses more on individuals. And you talked about training executives and athletes and entrepreneurs.
Right.
What's the same about all these people across the board? What do you find the commonalities to be?
Well, one of the things you find for sure is that they all have a discipline and that they're very persistent and have discipline about what they're doing. The other thing I found is that a common passion has to do with competition. That athletes, executives, entrepreneurs, they all have this competition kind of passion and a desire to win. That's really important and to be successful in business, actually.
And The Passion at Work takes it more from inside you and puts it into the workplace. What is that book about?
Well, The Passion Plan at Work, what it does is actually tries to show leaders and executives and business owners how do you actually take passion as a business strategy within your people, within yourself, and actually leverage it for success, so that it actually can be applied to the kind of work that you're doing and the kind of business approaches or the kind of markets you go after based upon your core passion and what your heart is really telling you to do.
What's the first step people should take right now if they want to begin this process?
Well, one thing is to write down some goals. One of the things that's always important in business is to be successful. You want to have some goals and visualize where your outcomes are. And that's what I call in the Passion Plan key profit areas. And profit is not just financial, but profit could be where you want to be successful in terms of that business. Whether it's social responsibility, whether it's learning or it's performance or it's financial, whatever those categories are, you want to define those key profit areas for yourself.
You write them down. Do you look at them once a day? Do you tape them up on the wall? What do you suggest?
Yeah, I recommend that people look at them constantly on a regular basis, whether it's weekly or it's monthly, but to write those goals down and to have them not only short term, but long term. So where do you want to be by 3 months from now? Where do you want to be 6 months from now? Where do you want to be a year from now? And then even 3 to 5 years from now.
It's kind of funny. We were talking before we went on the air about how the business world is changing. Corporations are changing. The way that they hire people and the reasons that they hire people, even the length of time that they hire people for is changing. How do you incorporate that into what you teach?
Well, one of the things I try to coach executives on is that the world of work today is no longer about the company taking care of the people necessarily. It's really about making sure that people find themselves in those jobs and you really help them find and apply their passion at work. Because otherwise they're going to follow that passion in other directions, or they're going to want to follow that toward entrepreneurism and things like that as well themselves. So it's very important for leaders to really embrace how is it that you work, and what is it that you really love doing, and making sure that the tasks or the jobs or the projects really align to that core passion, because it really requires less management in that case.
Dr. Richard Chang, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Come back, see us again. And we're going to tell you how you can contact Dr. Chang and Associates right after this.